What if the very thing you've been avoiding, the discomfort, the pressure, the pain, is the exact doorway to the life you've been praying for? What if every excuse you've told yourself, every shortcut you've taken, every time you said, "I'm not ready," yet has quietly stolen years from the future you were meant to create? And what if I told you right now, your dream life isn't waiting on luck, timing, or talent? It's waiting on your ability to do what is hard, because most people will spend their entire lives chasing ease and wondering why success always feels out of reach. They don't fail because they weren't capable. They fail because they avoided the very fire meant to forge them. They were seduced by comfort, by safety, by the illusion that there's another way, but there isn't. If you want a powerful life, you have to do powerful things. And powerful things are rarely easy. Most people dream of success. Few are willing to bleed for it, but that's the cost. That's the tax. And the truth is, if you keep running from what's hard, you're not just delaying progress. You're training your mind to quit, to fold, to stay small. And if that keeps happening one day, you'll look back, not with pride, but with regret, knowing you had everything you needed but refused to pay the price. This is not a motivational speech. This is a wake-up call. If you're tired of feeling stuck, tired of wondering why nothing changes, tired of seeing others rise while you feel invisible, then it's time to stop negotiating with fear and start building your fire. Because in the next few minutes, I'm going to show you how real success is forged, not through inspiration, but through repetition, pressure, and choosing what's hard on purpose. They told you success comes from finding balance, from building a life that's safe, sustainable, manageable, but they never told you the truth. Comfort is the silent killer. It looks innocent, feels warm, sounds reasonable, but it's the quiet poison that slowly erodes your drive, your potential, your hunger, and most people don't even see it happening. Let me tell you about Chris, a regular guy from New Jersey, early 30s, smart, hard-working, had a decent job, made decent money, had a decent life, but deep down he knew he was meant for more. He had ideas, dreams, potential bursting under the surface. He even started a side project, something that lit him up, something that made him feel alive again. But then things got uncomfortable, the hours were long, the payoff wasn't instant. His friends started questioning him, and slowly, day by day, he retreated, back to comfort, back to normal, back to safe. Sound familiar? How many dreams have died that same quiet death because someone chose comfort over courage? You know what's crazy? Chris didn't fail because he was weak. He failed because he was too comfortable to fight. And that's what nobody tells you. Comfort doesn't feel dangerous, but it is, because it tricks you into thinking you have time. It convinces you that tomorrow is better. It makes you believe that safety is success. But the truth, growth, only lives on the other side of discomfort. You'll never level up from the same place. You've been shrinking in. You can't expand in an environment built for retreat. Ask yourself, what am I clinging to that's slowly killing me? What habits, people, patterns do I keep choosing just because they're familiar, and at what cost? Because here's the warning. Comfort is a thief. It robs you silently. Not all at once, but in inches. In tiny, invisible sacrifices that feel like nothing in the moment, but steal everything over time. And if you don't disrupt that pattern now, years from today, you'll look around and wonder how your life got so small. You'll feel the weight of unlived potential, and it will hurt more than any risk you were once afraid to take. This is the emotional peak most people avoid, because facing it would mean admitting they've been seduced by ease. But you're not most people. You're here because something inside you is done settling. You've tasted the bitterness of wasted time, and you're ready to make the discomfort count. Because discomfort is not your enemy. It's your entrance. It's the alarm clock that shakes you out of stagnation. It's the birthplace of real transformation. And in the next part, I'm going to show you how to train yourself to not just survive the hard things, but to crave them, because that's where your freedom lives. There's a reason you felt restless lately, a quiet tension beneath your skin, a weight pressing on your chest when everything on the outside seems fine. But something inside knows you're not living at full power. That's not anxiety, that's identity begging to be activated. You weren't made for mediocrity. You weren't built to coast. You were built for pressure. And until you start stepping into hard things on purpose, that tension will never leave. Let me tell you about Ryan, a construction worker from upstate New York, father of two 5 a.m. wake-ups bills, always stacked higher than the checks. One winter, everything hit at once. His hours got cut, His wife's car broke down and his youngest ended up in the ER. The pressure was unbearable, but something flipped in him. He didn't collapse, he didn't complain, he got up earlier, picked up night shifts, learned online how to flip appliances on Craigslist to cover the bills. In 90 days, he made more than he had in the last 6 months. Why? Because pressure didn't break him, it revealed him. So the question is, what is pressure revealing in you? Do you run from it, numb it, blame the world for it? Or do you understand what pressure really is? Pressure is proof you're in the right arena. It's the weight that strengthens you, the resistance that reveals your character, the mirror that shows you whether you're pretending to be ready or you really are. And the truth is, most people never activate who they really are because they keep trying to live in peace before they have earned their power. They want success without storm, identity without adversity, validation without scars. But here's your warning: if you don't use the pressure, it will use you. It will twist your confidence, poison your decisions, and sabotage your future. One excuse at a time. And one day you'll look in the mirror and wonder who you could have become if you had leaned in instead of backing down. This is your emotional peak, the moment you stop seeing pressure as punishment and start recognizing it as preparation. Because you're not fragile, you're not broken, you are forged. And every storm, every struggle, every sleepless night, it's shaping the muscle that mediocrity can't lift. So now the transition is yours to make. You can keep resisting the weight and shrinking under it, or you can stand up and push back, because pressure isn't here to crush you, it's here to crown you. You ever wonder why the strongest people you know have the darkest stories? Why the ones who lead with quiet power rarely speak of what they endured to get there? It's because real resilience isn't born from comfort, it's forged in fire. Let me tell you about someone. His name's David, a high school janitor from Ohio, who once dreamed of becoming a mechanical engineer. He was top of his class, had a full ride lined up, and a heart that burned to build something that mattered. But life hit him hard and fast. His dad left, his mum got sick. He dropped everything to take care of her. College gone, dreams buried. For 10 years he cleaned floors and unclogged toilets while watching kids, younger than him, walk the path he once had a ticket to. But here's where it gets powerful. He didn't give up. He studied at night, saved every dime, got certified through online courses, and at 38 David finally launched his own design firm out of his garage. Today that garage is a national tech lab, hiring graduates from the very university he never attended. Why? Because the fire that was supposed to destroy him became the furnace that refined him. So now I ask you, what are you walking through right now that feels unfair, unbearable, maybe even unfixable? What if it's not here to break you, but to build you? What if your storm is your stage and your scars are the blueprint? Most people run from pain, but giants, they lean in. They know the fire isn't the end, it's the beginning. Here's the warning: most ignore. If you don't choose what your pain means, it will choose for you, and it will convince you that you're a victim of your circumstances instead of the architect of your comeback. You see, resilience isn't about bouncing back. It's about coming back different, stronger, wiser, more dangerous to anything that tries to hold you down. Again, it's what separates the ones who write history from the ones who just read it. The fire that built David didn't spare him. It scorched him, tested him, stripped everything down until all that remained was purpose and persistence. And that's where giants are born. So here's the transition. You're not waiting for your breakthrough. You're standing in it and the fire around you. That's not the end of your story. That's the start of your legend. You don't rise when it's easy, you rise when it's hard, and you keep going anyway. And if you want to live a life most never will, you have to train yourself to do what most never do. Embrace difficulty like it's the door to everything you've been asking for, because it is. And the question you need to ask yourself right now isn't, how can I avoid pain? It's, what kind of pain am I willing to endure to earn the life I want? Let me give you a real name, a real life, Marcus, a warehouse worker from Pittsburgh, father of 4, whose alarm went off at 4:30 every morning, not because he liked it, but because he had no choice. And one day, after being passed over for a promotion by someone 10 years younger with less experience, he made a decision he'd never let his potential be ignored again. Not by a boss, not by a system, not by himself. So he started small, 1 hour a day learning HVAC repair on his cracked iPad in the back room during lunch breaks. No applause, no guarantees, just grit. And by the end of the year he opened his own mobile service company, and now 3 years later he owns the building he once swept the floor in, because he trained his mind to stop waiting for easier and start leaning into harder. So what about you? What are you waiting for to be more convenient before you commit to it? The truth is, you don't need more motivation, you need more exposure to discomfort. Make it a ritual, one hard thing every morning before the world wakes up. Take a cold shower, make that uncomfortable phone call, hit the gym when it's dark, fast for 16 hours, speak in that meeting, learn the thing you've avoided, because here's the warning. If you don't choose your pain, it will choose you, and the pain of regret will always hit harder than the pain of discipline. You have to build the habit of voluntary difficulty. Why? Because if you only do what's easy, your life will always be hard. But if you do what's hard consistently, your life becomes powerful. That's not cliche, it's neurobiology. Your brain adapts to whatever environment you repeat. Train it in comfort and you weaken your tolerance for pressure. Train it in challenge and you become indestructible. And once you've trained that muscle of resilience, that identity of a finisher, no external force can break you, because you've already proven you can't be bought by ease. So here's the pivot. The battle isn't out there. It's in your rituals. It's in what you do when no one's clapping. It's in whether you seek validation or transformation. Start now, pick your pain and turn it into power. There comes a moment in every person's life when the mirror becomes unbearable, not because of how you look, but because of what you've avoided, because of the promises you made to yourself that you keep breaking in silence, because deep down you know you're capable of more. And yet each day feels like a loop of delay, of hesitation, of waiting for the right time that never comes. And the truth is, we don't change when we learn more. We change when we've had enough. When something inside us snaps and we say, I can't live like this anymore. And that right there is the day everything changes. Not because the world shifts, but because you finally do. And that's what happened to Caleb, a 41-year-old divorced dad from Indianapolis who had every reason to give up, laid off during the pandemic, crushed by child support, sleeping on a borrowed couch. A man who once had ambition, but was now just trying to survive. But then, one night, after missing another call from his daughter because he was too ashamed to explain his situation, he stood in the middle of a gas station parking lot with tears in his eyes and whispered, "This is not who I am," and that was it. No lightning bolt, no cheering crowd, just a quiet declaration between him and the universe. And the next morning he got up at 5:00 a.m., walked 2 miles to a temp job, saved every cent, enrolled in an online certification course, and in 12 months he had his own business, a studio apartment, and a new fire behind his eyes. Not because it was easy, but because he chose to make one hard decision again and again until it rewired his identity from survivor to builder. So I ask you, what moment are you waiting for to save you? What day on the calendar are you circling? What permission are you hoping someone gives you to finally become who you were meant to be? Because the longer you wait, the more pieces of your potential are slipping through your fingers. And here's the dangerous part. The clock is still ticking, whether you move or not. And that pain you feel, that inner frustration, that sense that life is passing you by, that's not depression, it's potential, trying to get your attention. And if you ignore it long enough, it goes quiet, not because it's gone, but because it stopped believing you'd listen. So here's your warning one day. If you're not careful, you'll wake up and realize you traded your future for the illusion of later. And that's the kind of regret that doesn't just sting, it haunts, but you have a choice. And the beauty is it only takes one real decision to change everything. Not the kind you post, not the kind you whisper and forget, but the kind that burns bridges behind you. The kind that demands you show up for yourself when no one is watching, the kind that reclaims your self-respect, because that's where the shift begins. Not in doing everything at once, but in doing the hard thing, first over and over, until the old. You can't survive in the new standards you created, and yes, it's going to cost you, but the price of growth is always cheaper than the cost of staying stuck. So if you're waiting for a sign, if you've been asking when it's now, this is the day. The one you'll look back on, not with shame, but with fire in your chest. The day the pattern ended. The day you finally said it. I'm done waiting. I'm done watching. I'm done doubting. Today is mine, and everything changes now. You've been fighting battles no one sees, carrying weight behind your smile, trying to stay strong, while quietly wondering if anyone else feels what you feel, like you're trying so hard to move forward, but the ground beneath you keeps shifting, and every time you take a step, something pulls you back, and it makes you ask yourself, am I the only one struggling this deeply? Am I the only one waking up some mornings feeling behind, unseen, like my effort goes unnoticed, like my dreams are just a little too far away to grab? But here's the truth. No, you are not alone in this, and you never have been, because what you're walking through right now, someone else is walking through too, and someone else has already walked through and survived it, and someone else is about to walk into it, hoping to find someone strong enough to show them the way, and that someone could be you, because this is what no one teaches. As growing up, greatness is never built in isolation. It's built in shared struggle, in quiet accountability, in real connection, and the moment you believe you're alone is the moment you cut yourself off from the power of collective resilience. And let me tell you a story. Megan, 29, single mum, from Charlotte, worked 2 jobs and still couldn't keep the lights on, spent nights crying in her car outside a late shift, just so her son wouldn't see her fall apart. And for a long time she thought she had to do it all alone, thought asking for help meant weakness, but one day she found a community online, people like her, tired but not broken, scared but still moving, and she started sharing her story. And that story became a lifeline, not just for her but for dozens of others who didn't know how to keep going. And suddenly she wasn't just surviving, she was leading, because when you realize you're not the only one in the fire, you stop feeling like the flame is your fault. And here's the emotional peak. There are people watching you right now, not for perfection, but for proof that it's possible, proof that someone just like them didn't give up, didn't shrink, didn't settle. And maybe they don't say it, maybe they've never met you, but they are drawing strength from the fact that you keep showing up, and that matters more than you think. So I want you to hear this clearly. Your effort is not invisible. Your fight is not wasted. Your journey is not being lived in vain, because there is a community being built right here and right now. One built not on hype or image, but on truth, on discipline, on the unspoken pact where we all share that we are not here to be average, that we are not here to coast, that we are here to rise together. And if you're still breathing, still moving, still believing, then you're part of something bigger, something real. And what comes next isn't just about your growth, it's about the legacy you help unlock in others by refusing to quit. So here's the pivot. If this message hits something inside, you don't stay silent, declare it. Comment below, I'm built for more. Let someone else scrolling know they're not alone. Either subscribe, not just for content, but for connection, because this is not just another motivational video. This is your reminder that you're not out here doing this alone, and you never have been. You don't need more time, more credentials, or anyone's permission to become who you were always meant to be. You just need to start, and deep down, you know that, because the greatest version of you is not some fantasy or future idea. It's already inside, buried beneath layers of hesitation, fear, and the lies you've repeated to yourself for too long. And if you could see what I see, if you could step outside of yourself for just one moment and witness the strength you've already built by surviving everything you've been through, you'd stop doubting and start moving, because you're not late, you're not behind. You're right on time, standing at the edge of everything you've been praying for. And the only thing between where you are and where you're meant to be is a decision, not a perfect plan, not the ideal moment, but a raw, unfiltered decision to rise anyway, to act without all the answers, to trust. That motion creates clarity, and you don't have to be fearless to begin. You just have to be brave enough to stop waiting. And I want you to hear this in your bones. You already have what it takes, because every ounce of potential, every seed of greatness, every tool you need has already been placed inside you. But potential without action is just weight you carry around, and right now is your invitation to drop the excuses and pick up your power. Because this isn't about motivation, this is about identity, and the only way to change your life is to stop thinking like the old you and start acting like the version of you who refuses to break. So say it out loud, I was built for this. Say it like a vow, like a declaration to your future self, like a promise you won't walk away from. Again, because this is your line in the sand. Moment in the second, everything changes, not because the world got easier, but because you got stronger. And if this spoke to you, if it hit something in your chest you haven't felt in a long time, then it's time to move. Comment below. I was built for this, not for attention, but for alignment. Subscribe to this channel, not for content, but for transformation. And share this with one person who's on the edge of giving up, because sometimes all it takes is one voice to remind you what you're capable of. And today, that voice was yours. So walk out of this moment different than you came in. And remember this, your future isn't waiting for a better version of you. It's waiting for the real one to finally show up.